2 lives in a row, huh?
Oh,
We are back, guys.
we're back.
Are we live?
Back and I'm better.
I think we're live, bro. Maybe, I don't know why it hasn't
Yeah,
popped
we
up.
live. It say live.
We're gonna see. Oh, it says live on your phone?
I see it right there.
Yeah, I know it says it right there, but I don't see. Okay, yeah, we are live.
We're live.
We are live, guys.
Dead
Everybody
eyes.
join. We're here to watch Vivek cook MSNBC.
Oh, yeah.
Noise.
That'll
I think-
never get old.
I think. Turn it down, Taj.
Jiminy Christmas.
I didn't know you had the volume on it, so.
I think Vivek got. I ain't gonna say it's not. He didn't get hostile, but he got pretty upset on this one. Like
No,
he
they
started
had him-
roasting the
they
guy
had him
pretty
messed up.
much.
They had him messed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I ain't gonna lie. MSNBC has been posting a lot of content lately. Like, why does everybody hate them though? Are they like liberal?
I don't know. That's what they be saying.
I thought CNN was.
Bro, everything's just so divided.
You know,
bro,
I don't
'cause
know, man.
Everything's so divided. Because when I go on MSNBC comments, people are like, "This guy just cooked Vivek." And then when I go to other channels, like Black Conservative, everybody's just like, "That guy's stupid." But some people actually believe Vivek is getting cooked.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he's a liar, and he shouldn't be leading the free world.
Wow. Man, everybody a liar, man. Damn.
Like,
Like you ain't never lied before.
Yeah, I like how we can see the chat today, man.
I do.
That was so
no, bro, that's
weird.
not,
I'm
going
not.
to continue to happen.
Wow.
Oh, that right there? Yeah, we can see that. But no, this is going to continue.
Oh, yeah, I don't need
We're
that.
going to hop into
That
the
was
video,
fun.
though, guys. Have anybody seen it? Drop some W's or drop some L's if it wasn't hitting on nothing, guys. But we finna get into it. We finna get onto it.
So geeked up, you would think it's cap.
Alrighty.
Who's Joe Reagan?
Joe Rogan.
Joe. Oh, I thought you said Reagan.
What?
Rogan. RP Joe Rogan.
But you know,
He ain't dead, bro.
That's got to be cast.
That have to be
cap.
cap.
I don't know who
Nigga
that
said
said
Joe
that.
Reagan.
I don't know who said that.
25 minutes. It's only 25
That would blow up.
minutes.
Okay, guys. We're going to get into it. Let's get it. Let's go.
Do it.
Let's go.
Let us know if the sounds good, guys.
Vivek Ramaswamy, thank you so much for coming on the show today. You and I both grew up as kids of Indian immigrants who loved to debate, super confident, perhaps overconfident in our views. But here's the difference. I kind of know my limits. You, on the other hand, having never held or even run for any elected office before, be it Congress or even school board.
Already.
said,
You
"I
limited yourself.
He said, he said, I know my limits. Well, Vivek is a billionaire businessman, and you are a dickhead.
Or a TV host. There's nothing wrong with that, though.
I was
Having
thinking
not
Fox.
voted
Like, could
in
that
3
be part of
presidential
the two?
elections in a row.
that would be
You, on the other hand, having never held or even run for any elected office before, be it
He's
Congress or
light-skinned
even
face.
school board, having not voted
How old are you
in
when
3
this
presidential elections in a row, suddenly now want to be president, go straight for the top job on planet Earth. Your critics would say that's the epitome of tech bro arrogance. What is your response to them? I get that you're an outsider. Personally, I like outsiders. But what have you done that
You've
even
answered this question
qualifies
so
you to
many
be
times.
president of the United States?
I'm a billionaire.
So look, Mehdi, I have been taking on bureaucracies my entire life. I took on the bureaucracy of big pharma starting in my late 20s.
Yeah.
At a time when I think pharma was corrupt and going in a lot of directions that they shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
I actually built a multi-billion-dollar business developing medicines that pharma had abandoned.
Yeah.
I took on the ESG bureaucracy, competing with firms like BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard to build a successful firm called Strive. Yes, none of that is in government, but it is in the private sector. It involves taking on bureaucracies.
Okay.
And that exactly is my mission here, is taking on the biggest bureaucracy of all, that in the federal government in Washington, D.C. And the other thing I'll add to that, Mehdi, is it's not just the outsider pitch. I think we do need an outsider. I think it's good to have a business background. But I'm also an outsider who deeply understands the law and the Constitution in this country. And I think that's the unique combination that actually makes this my calling. And I hope that we're going to be successful in reviving this country.
So you talk about your business background. Let's talk about that. You made your name and made a lot of your early big money from pushing an Alzheimer's drug that had already failed 4 clinical trials when you bought it. You then talked it up on CNBC and Forbes.
Ugh, Forbes.
So he's here to cook him. Okay.
He's trying to get on him.
Accident
cook
bought
him.
for $5 million up front. The Alzheimer's drug that gave GlaxoSmithKline had given up on after 4 failed clinical trials.
So then he succeeded, and now y'all mad.
So he's here to cook him. We see this already.
And I hope that we're going to be successful in reviving this country.
So you talk about your business background. Let's talk about that. You made your name and made a lot of your early big money from pushing an Alzheimer's drug that had already failed 4 clinical trials when you bought it. You then talked it up on CNBC, in Forbes, on the cover. Your company's subsidiary shot up by billions in value when it went public in 2015. But then the drug failed its phase 3 trial on your watch. The company lost 75% of its value in a single day. Ordinary investors like the California State Teachers Pension Fund lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. But you cashed out beforehand via your parent company to the tune of, I believe, over $37 million. Your critics say it's a classic pump and dump scheme. What do you say to them?
Yeah, Mehdi, that's the standard opposition research during politics reading line. Anybody in the biotech industry knows this story very well. 99.7% of Alzheimer's drugs have failed. That's thousands of drugs. Okay. Mine was one of them. But the company I founded, Roivant, developed a range of medicines. And the way I made my money was not through the failure of that Alzheimer's drug. This is one of the pieces of misinformation from opposition research. I could have sold shares in that subsidiary Alzheimer's company, but didn't. So the person who was hurt by that was me.
Hold on. But you say this a lot, but you did sell shares in Roivant, and you made $37 million.
And Mehdi,
$37 million.
Mehdi, I think you owe it to your audience. Mehdi, I think you owe it to your audience to be accurate. That is shares in a different company, not Axovant. Yeah. And those shares that I sold are worth, and those shares are worth dramatically more today. So I would have made more money had I held on to those shares. So don't believe what the opposition research purveys through the media.
Opposition research. We looked at your tax returns, which you very kindly have released.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
I voluntarily released. Because I want to be transparent.
You made $300,000 in 2014 on capital gains. In 2015, after the IPO of this Axovant, you made $37 million in capital gains. Yet others didn't make
after
that
Roivant, after Mehdi, give me a break. After Roivant, the multi-billion-dollar business that developed 40+ medicines.
What is wrong with making money?
But like me, I know my place. I'm still stuck on that, bro.
He said, I know my limits. Boy. You ain't never touched no M.
So since you didn't want to be great, you over here, you gonna be mad?
I have not seen
Vivek mad at himself.
He didn't want to take a risk.
He really mad at himself.
Comparison.
He wishes that he was him.
Just like
take a L.
This like on Boondocks.
The crabs in the bucket.
Tom.
No, this like the crabs in the bucket. You remember when the crabs was pulling them down?
Yeah. Dang.
It be y'all.
I haven't seen Vivek lose, bro.
Hey, y'all. It be
dollars in capital gains. Yet others didn't make
after
that kind
Roivant,
of money.
after Mehdi, give me a break. After Roivant, the multi-billion-dollar business that developed 40+ medicines, yes, I sold shares in that. And that business, if I may actually allow you to know how I made my money, developed 5 FDA-approved therapies that are now FDA-approved today.
After you sold
one
the
of them is a life-saving therapy in kids.
When you were CEO,
Another one.
were they?
They were FDA. Actually, over the time that I developed them, we took them all the way through phase 3, and then we did a $3 billion deal that actually
they were approved a year and a half later after you sold the company.
Yes, so Mehdi, I'm not going to fault you for not knowing the first thing about biotech because that's not your job. But getting through phase 3 is the final stage of clinical testing before you hand in the application. Yes, my company did a $3 billion deal that actually did make money for those shareholders. And yes, I have built Roivant's a publicly traded company, nearly $10 billion public company today that I built as the sole founder from scratch as one of several companies that I've built. So yes, I have a business record that I'm proud of and will equip me to lead this country.
You mentioned stage 3 trials. The Alzheimer's drug failed it after you did a lot of touting of it. You say 99.7% failed. You never said that at the time. Do you have any regrets about how you hyped that drug?
I did say that.
CEO of Roivant said this week that you hyped the drug. Did you regret hyping it?
No.
We did not hype the drug. To the contrary, actually, one of the things that I found
this week.
Well, I can't speak for what is or isn't. I haven't read any article that you're quoting, so I don't exactly know what you're referring to. The fact of the matter is, though, I have been transparent at every step of the way. Everyone who is in the biotech industry knows that Alzheimer's disease is the graveyard for medicines. But I still think it's an important area of need. And I'll say this, Mehdi, you know what? If I serve for 2 terms, I'm still going to be in my 40s when I leave the White House. It is a personal passion of mine to come back and see if Alzheimer's disease hasn't been cured. I do want to play a role in still delivering treatments and cures for that disease. And people who don't take risks, don't achieve meaningful impact, the medicines that I did develop, I'm proud of, and you don't get there without having a number of medicines that you test along the way. And the other thing I will say is our success rate under my watch was higher than probably nearly 99.9% of biotech startups in the last decade. So, yeah, I stand by that record. I'm not afraid of taking risks. That's part of the American spirit.
Well, technically, the successes were a year and a half after you sold the company, but we'll get bogged down. Let's talk politics.
Mehdi, that's dead wrong, and I would sorry to say you're embarrassing yourself in front of anybody who knows anything about biotech for knowing that phase 3 trials are the final stage.
Okay.
The final stage, the FDA phase 3 studies succeeded. So you're barking up the wrong tree, but we can continue to move on.
Let's talk politics. Let's talk politics. We do. We want to talk lots of stuff. You're an advocate, your critics say, of fantasy politics, of magical thinking. They say you propose stuff that can't be done. For example, you said on Meet the Press the other week that if you had been in Mike Pence's place on January the 6th, you would have insisted on first passing a bill that night to bring in single-day voting on election day with paper ballots.
That's inaccurate.
Government-issued
I never
ID.
said that night. I never said that night.
What you would have done on January the 6th, and you said I would have done this. And
I said what I would have done differently is that I was precise about the period between, and this is still ambitious, I will admit, but at least let's get my view correct. It is ambitious. Between November 4th and January 6th, I think it was an opportunity for heroism.
Just to be clear, you never said anything about it.
Have said it every step.
Let's play the clip. Guys, do we have the clip?
I've said this in countless forums.
Have a listen to the clip.
On your Chuck Todd spliced script, in all of my written statements and everything I've said,
hold on, we're playing the clip right now.
In that period between the election, here's what I would have said. We need single-day voting on Election Day. We need paper ballots, and we need government-issued ID matching the voter file. And if we achieve that, then we have achieved victory, and we should not have any further complaint about election integrity.
So I would have driven
it through the Senate.
So what would you have done with Mike Pence? You would have not certified the election?
So in my capacity as president of the Senate, I would have led through that level of reform. Then on that condition, certified the election results, served it up to the president, President Trump, then to sign that into law. And on January 7th, declared the re-election campaign pursuant to a free and fair election.
Vivek, not only do you not mention anything about November, but let's say you did do November. That joint session was not a legislative
that's still
session.
Ambitious.
The vice president doesn't have the power to introduce legislation. Neither party would have backed such a bill.
Oh, come on,
and it couldn't have been passed in a day.
The fact of the matter is,
naive stuff that can't be done.
The president and vice president absolutely drive legislation through Congress. That is exactly how things work.
But Trump wasn't doing legislation. He was busy pushing the big lie, as you pointed out yourself in your book.
Well,
so he wasn't
and
there.
I wasn't
Mike
the vice president of the United States.
Passed a bill,
and I was not the vice president of the United States.
Mike Pence,
you guys in the media, you guys in the MSNBC crack me up to sort of create a hypothetical situation to say, if you had been vice president, what would you have been doing? I'm telling you exactly what I've been doing, but you're saying, but that's not what Donald Trump was doing. This is
Mike
a joke.
Pence asked you,
Let's actually have a substantive conversation. Do you want to have a substantive conversation about what should have happened, or do you want to play a game of gotcha? Because you have the choice. The choice is yours. Do you actually want to have a substantive conversation? If you do, I'm down to do it. Do you want a substantive conversation? What we need.
You've said substantive 4 times.
Actually, if you want to get a word in, if you're going to speak the truth and ask a legitimate question.
Hold on, bro. Somebody in the chat said Vivek arguing with his long lost brother. Bro.
Have at it.
I think it is a legitimate question.
Hey, now the chat is hilarious, man. Y'all keep it up.
Somebody keeps saying cook him, Brock. They say Brock look like
what we need.
You've said substantive 4 times.
Actually, if you want to get a word in,
y'all
if you're going to speak the truth and ask a legitimate question, have at it.
I think it is a legitimate question. Multiple people wondered about your knowledge of how Congress works, suggesting Mike Pence, by the way, on the debate stage asked you if you would have supported what he did. It's not an MSNBC question. It's a Republican vice president question.
Yes.
So fine, you don't want to answer it. You think you could have passed a bill.
It was a missed opportunity for heroism, not in one day, but I think that in a period of 2 months. And I think you're a smart guy.
It couldn't have been done in a lame duck Congress.
There's an American
Vivek. You're
confidence.
A smart guy. You know it couldn't have been done in 2 months.
I think under extraordinary circumstances, in extraordinary times, we have an American Confidence in Elections Act. It's literally making its way through Congress now. ACE. I support it. I think if we had gotten that done during that window, further we said single-day voting on Election Day as a national holiday.
And Mitch McConnell wouldn't have agreed to a national holiday.
Democrats should agree to it.
We can argue forever.
I think Democrats should agree to it.
That's a different argument.
And that's what I stand for. I think we're still going to get that done when I'm the president.
Okay.
When I'm the president, not in some fantasy land where I was vice president in some other year in the historical history.
Let's talk about you as president.
What I'm running for,
Understood.
This is what we're going to do.
Let me ask a question so we don't run out of time. Please don't filibuster. I just want to ask a question about when you're president, you said this is your words, quote, if you want to stay out of no-win wars and make America stronger at home, I know how to get that done. Genuine question,
Yes.
Vivek, not a gotcha. How?
him.
How do you know how to get that done? With respect,
Yes.
you've literally never done anything like that in your life. I could go out on the street, outside the studio,
question.
grab someone. They have as much experience as you do of keeping us out of foreign wars. That's not an insult. That's just a statement of fact.
I mean, he's
No,
never
it's not
had
an
that
insult. It's a
position
fact,
before.
right? And it is
feel like
also a
that's what
fact
any
that everybody
president-
else who does have experience in the foreign policy establishment has been
didn't have
sending us into no-win wars for a long time.
Congress
Both of those
a
are
lot of
facts.
people
Here's how I would do it. Let's get specific, and I'm glad we've finally gotten to the doorstep of actually discussing a policy agenda. Here's what I would do. Pull Russia apart in its military alliance with China. Those two countries are in a military treaty dating back to 2001. That is the single greatest threat that the United States faces. So I would end the Ukraine war on terms that, yes, allow Ukraine to at least come out with its sovereignty intact, which may not even be the track they're on right now. But in return, and also make a commitment that NATO will not admit Ukraine to NATO. In conjunction, and by the way, for people in the foreign policy establishment, they forgot that Gorbachev was made that promise by James Baker in the United States in 1990. So keep our word there. But in return, actually make a hard requirement that Vladimir Putin exit his military alliance
And I've
with
heard you
China
say this many
and remove
times.
his Russian military presence from the West. That's
And
the
I guess
deal that I would do.
Again, the fantasy
that
land
secures
is why
peace
would
and advances
Putin
American
just
interests.
agree with you? Why? Because you asked nicely, Putin will hold his word.
Because
He'll
he's the
pocket
leader
your
of the
concessions
free
and not
world.
just carry on dealing with his biggest trading partner, China.
We could trade with them.
Well, here's the thing.
Got some
I actually
cool
think that
red
China shouldn't be his biggest trading partner. I think it's a mistake that we've closed off economic relations with Russia. I would lead both the United States and the West to reopen economic relations with Russia because Putin does not enjoy being Xi Jinping's little brother. Mehdi, you're a smart guy. Look at what he's done. He's actually sent weapons to both India and Vietnam right after the February 2022 meeting he had with Xi Jinping. There are cracks in that armor, but we need to actually open our eyes to see the opportunity staring us in the face.
We will have to agree to disagree whether we think that you can persuade.
Bro, I hear this every time. We're gonna have to agree to disagree. Well, I just disagree. Bro, I ain't gonna say, this news channel and CNN, bro, we see their agenda every time, bro. Fox does have some sometimes too. All these news outlets have an agenda, bro. This shit sucks. Like, damn, like
influence the masses.
these are really channels that are on, what is it called? Cable, bro.
Yeah.
Like, this is to the mass media.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. That's why.
And they're pushing agendas.
Yeah, bro.
We don't even need nothing for this.
Now
sucks.
that's why we can fight against them big media companies, man.
Like,
Fuck them
damn,
big
bro.
media
They
companies,
need
man.
the truth.
Man, fuck MSNBC, wherever the fuck they is. Fuck TNCN, fuck BBC, fuck NCAA,
Like,
fuck
damn,
News,
bro.
ESN.
Can we get some
All of
credible
them.
information?
You know what? Hey, you need NIL deal callers right now.
Golly.
Damn. He just went hard.
Cracks in that armor, but we need to actually open our eyes to see the opportunity staring us in the face.
We will have to agree to disagree whether we think that you can persuade Vladimir Putin to drop his alliance with Xi Jinping. You have made truth the centerpiece of your campaign. So let's talk about your trustworthiness.
Yes.
For example, when CNN quoted you talking to The Atlantic about 9/11 and federal agents possibly being on the planes, you said the quote is wrong, actually. But the quote wasn't wrong. The Atlantic released the audio of what you saying exactly what they said you said.
Mehdi,
Hold on, let me finish the question.
Let me be crystal clear.
Let me finish the question.
The
Then I'll
Atlantic
give
should
you time.
release
I
the whole
promise to
tape.
come back
They've
in.
refused to do it. Yep.
You said on
Sounds
Twitter
good.
Spaces last month that no, you had never supported Bernie Sanders' Masks for All legislation, but you literally put out a tweet in July of 2020 calling it a sensible idea. You also said not once but twice in June and July that the first time you'd ever voted was in 2020. Yeah. You also said
My policy views don't often align with Bernie, but this strikes me as a sensible idea. The cost is a tiny fraction of others' less compelling federal expenditures on COVID-19. They should have picked someone from the political right as a co-author to show consensus.
I ain't gonna lie.
And that was in 2020.
I used to.
This
I'm
is
gonna keep it
about the
100.
masks idea.
I used to
said
really
it,
be
though.
in support of Bernie
he said
Sanders.
They don't often.
They
So
bought
that
it.
doesn't
I
mean
was
they
bought
never-
it too.
yeah.
I used to be so bited for Bernie Sanders.
Free college.
But until I realized what type of man he was,
What type of man is Bernie?
man, he's like socialism, bro. Like that's just like
Yeah.
that make everybody
Democratic socialist.
But Bernie was cool though. When I seen Bernie, I was like,
But, like, that's
for
like-
some reason you just like Bernie
I like Bernie.
I
He
see
seems
his
cool.
face.
without even like
He's
you
a
just
cool
like
old
Bernie.
man.
You ever seen Bernie?
I've seen his
He's-
face.
he's on
but
talk
I
shows
don't
and stuff
really know
now.
what he talks about.
Bernie was cool, bro. But I remember when I was little, I was just like, I said, Mama, go vote for Bernie, man.
But
But
then
now
his
I got
policies
older,
and shit,
it
yeah.
seemed like communism to me, man. I don't
Yeah.
know.
you said on
Sounds
Twitter
good.
Spaces last month that no, you had never supported Bernie Sanders' mask for all legislation, but you literally put out a tweet in July of 2020 calling it a sensible idea. You also said not once but twice in June and July that the first time you'd ever voted was in 2020 for Trump, but in fact the first time you voted for president was in 2004 for a pro-choice libertarian candidate. How can people believe what you say?
So, Mehdi, let me just go through one by one. The Atlantic, yes, purposefully spliced an out-of-context quote where we have challenged them. They released the tapes. We asked them for the tapes first. They didn't give them to us. They waited then to splice them and release them publicly. I challenged the Atlantic to release that entire conversation. And what was a conversation about how many federal agents were in the field.
You said was wrong. We all heard it. We can play it if you like.
No,
it is exactly word for word what she quoted to you. You said they put words in your mouth.
Look, if you want... If you want hard facts, here are hard facts. That day, the Atlantic printed it. I said, that looks like something that never captured the character of our conversation. Can you ask Atlantic for the tapes? They said they would refuse to release the recording to us. Wow. So when Caitlin asked me about it, I said, that does not at all sound like the context of what I said. And then, it turns out the Atlantic releases a very, everybody should listen to it.
You're putting words in my mouth.
It functionally sends the wrong message,
you could have said, functionally. Okay. You could have said it's out of context. You said
it was so badly taken out of context that it misled their audience. It was so badly taken out of context. It was basically a lie and it misled their audience. But ask the Atlantic to release it. So my view here is,
the lie is denying you said words that we all heard you say on tape.
The media distortion filters. Mehdi, if they are going to cut something before and after without the question of what the guy is that came beforehand, come on, why wouldn't the Atlantic? Why are they so reluctant to release the whole recording?
Maybe
ask
because the audio they released, you're still hiding on the audio. Okay, let's ask you this question. Is Donald Trump,
it's a joke that the media is going to selectively edit this, and this is the way this game is played.
Who is he talking about when he say Atlantic?
It's a journal, isn't it?
I thought it was the record. I thought it was the record label. That's what I'm saying. That's the only Atlantic I heard of.
Isn't the Atlantic
I think it is.
Outlet?
Hell yeah.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure that's because he said they purposely spliced it, or like what he
said. You said words
the media distortion filters.
Cut the question.
Mehdi, if they are going to cut something before and after without the question of what the guy is that came beforehand, come on, why wouldn't the Atlantic? Why are they so reluctant to release the whole recording?
Maybe
ask
because the audio they released, you're still denying you said what's on the audio. Okay, let's ask you this question. Is Donald Trump,
it's a
as
joke
you say
that
now,
the media is going to selectively edit this, and this is the way this game is played. Politics is dirty, that's okay,
it's
I'm
not
ready for
edited,
it.
just to be clear. Is Donald Trump, as you say now, the best president of the 21st century?
Of the 21st century. Yes, he was.
Let me ask my question. Let me finish the question. Is Donald Trump, as you say now, the best president of the 21st century, who you say you want as an advisor and a mentor if you become president? Or is Trump, as you've said in the past in your books on Twitter, a, quote, sore loser who is a, quote, danger to democracy and who did, quote, downright abhorrent and egregious things on January the 6th? Which one is he, Vivek?
Ooh, they put them old tweets, Vivek.
So to be crystal clear, between George Bush, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and Donald Trump, those are the presidents of the 21st century. Donald Trump is unambiguously, as judged by the results, the best president of the 21st century. Kept us out of wars, grew the economy. I give him full credit for that. I want to build on that foundation and take this country to the next level.
You've also called him a sore
Does that mean
loser
I would have
who is
made
a danger to democracy. Those are strong words.
Would I have made the same judgments that he has made at every step of the way? No, I will remind you that I am running for U.S. president because I am best positioned to lead this country forward.
Can I ask you what they are, Vivek? Yes. You say he behaved in downright abhorrent behavior that makes him a danger to democracy. What was it that was downright? Tell me what he did that was downright abhorrent.
Let's actually be really fair to your audience. So on January 10th, 2021, thereabouts, days after that incident, I wrote an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal.
I ain't gonna lie though, he did get him a little bit with that point though.
Not really though.
Because he said
about the tweet. He just said, I mean, he's kind of the way he handled everything. But he said, out of the candidates, you vote for this dude, or this dude. He said, I'm picking Trump. Him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He said based on
but he did say he was a danger to democracy. That is very strong words.
Though. Yeah, he might have got a little carried away with the tweet.
Yeah,
that's why it might be better to stay off Twitter.
So I give him a point with that one. I give him a point with that one.
Hey, it's finna get real dirty. They finna pull up all
2021, thereabouts. Days after that incident, I wrote an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal.
We finna get on here and we finna cook him about this shit.
Yeah, that's the whole thing it is.
Like, damn, we can't even show highlights.
He knows what they're gonna do.
That's sad, bro. Dang.
10th, 2021, thereabouts. Days after that incident, I wrote an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal arguing that censorship was the real cause of what happened on January 6th. When asked in response, somebody asked me the question, are you... That's what I wrote. I'm giving you the facts of what I said. That's a hard fact. That was published in the Wall Street Journal. When pressed on, was that condoning what Trump did? My answer was no. There's a difference between a bad judgment and a crime.
We asked him that. He's talking about what we asked him, I think.
What
Because didn't we ask him, is he condoning what Trump did with the January 6th? Didn't we ask him that?
Oh, yeah,
he asked him that. That's what he just said. Go back it up. He literally just said that he got asked that. He's talking about the question you asked.
Question, are you... That's what I wrote. I'm giving you the facts of what I said. That's a hard fact. That was published in the Wall Street Journal. When pressed on, was that condoning what Trump did? My answer was no. There's a difference between a bad judgment and a crime.
And
we
you're
need
avoiding
to
my
be
question.
able to tell the difference in this country.
What did Donald Trump do,
no, I'm not avoiding
in your view, that was downright abhorrent? Second time I asked
think that the thing that I would have done differently if I were in his shoes
not what I asked,
is
Vivek,
I would have
respect.
declared re-election on
That's
January 7th.
I'll ask it a third
That's exactly the thing I would have done.
What did Trump do that was egregious, quote, downright abhorrent, and a danger to democracy? Can you just explain to our viewers? Your words.
So you're mixing two different quotes. But what did I think was reprehensible about what happened that day? Look, I think that the way a true leader should have handled that situation should have been to actually say, this is me running for re-election, not actually litigating what is already passed and behind us. And I would have done things differently. That is not a crime, though, what he did.
I understand.
And the reason I have been so vehement.
You keep saying what you would have done. I just want to hear from your mouth. No,
I would not,
unless you're scared of him, why won't you say what he did that was downright abhorrent?
I'm not going to let you you're stitching together three things from three different places to create a caricature. Do you want to have an actual conversation?
Yes, I want you to answer my question, Vivek. Three times I've asked it. What did Trump do that was downright abhorrent? It's a simple question. It's your words. It's on screen. What did he do that was downright abhorrent?
Answer the question.
I believe that failing to unite this country falls short of what a true leader ought to do. That is why I'm in this race, is to do things differently than any prior president has done them. That's the hard truth, okay?
And that's what made him a sore loser and abhorrent.
The media
yes, your word.
and the...
That's a good answer.
Well, the reality is none of that is a crime. And the reason I have been so vocal, the reason I have been so vocal is because when somebody actually prosecutes somebody for a bad judgment, and I've been clear,
I understand
he made
your
bad
objections
judgments.
to the litigation.
I would have made different
that.
judgments.
That's not what I asked about. I understand.
That is a distinction we have to draw.
Understood. You say you are anti-identity politics, anti-affirmative action in a party that hates the Soros name, yet you accepted a Paul and Daisy Soros scholarship at law school that was specifically set up for the children of immigrants. It was an affirmative action scholarship. And your defense for that is that you didn't have the money to pay for law school, even though you'd already made over $1 million at the time. And made
my defense of that is, if somebody gives you a merit scholarship at the age of 24, you take it. At the age of 24, somebody gives you a merit scholarship, you take it. I didn't say I didn't have the money. I said at a time when I had a lot less money than now, $50,000 was still useful money to me.
You keep forgetting your quote. You said, when I didn't have the money.
So, Mehdi, I've made this really easy for everybody. And I did this in the early weeks of the campaign. I released 20 years of tax returns.
Yes, you
something that no presidential candidate, let alone somebody who's successful in business, has done. I challenged Democrats and Republicans alike, including the Biden family, to do it.
And
you know what? I released it so that you could look at them, so we can have an honest conversation.
I appreciate that.
The funny thing I've learned,
I do appreciate that. It's something
I think that transparency is important. So
it's
already open.
I'm supposed to turn down free money to go to school.
It's a scholarship.
If Donald Trump gave you money and you're a Democrat, you turn it down.
Affirmative action.
In the name of democracy.
You still have to pay tuition. You just got accepted.
Yeah, so when somebody said,
hey, young boy, hey, little African boy, I'm gonna pay for you to go to school. No, Mr. White
I feel like I could be on MSNBC now, man. I'm just gonna say some cap shit on this.
Oh my God, bro, the agenda is crazy.
And you know what? I released it so that you could look at them, so we can have an honest conversation.
I appreciate that.
The funny thing I've learned,
I do appreciate that. It's something Trump should learn from you.
I think that transparency is important. So it's already open and everybody can see it.
Exactly. We have 2009.
But the fact of the matter is, you know what I would advise every 24 years to take $50,000
and 2010, you made $750,000. You had the money to pay for law school. You didn't need a Soros affirmative action scholarship that you now criticize.
I mean, none of this is worthy, but if you think it is, let's get to the detail. That was actually the first big piece of money.
You say you're anti-affirmative action. You took a scholarship for immigrants.
I'm anti-affirmative action.
So why did you take a scholarship for the children of immigrants?
It's a merit.
Which falsehood would you like me to address? The financial one or the one about my views on affirmative action? Because I can go in whichever order you'd like.
On
the financial piece of it.
You ain't never made $150,000.
Not at the time that I had applied for the scholarship that fall.
Yes, you did.
December.
Yes, you did. This is awkward for you because you did. I've got the tax returns in front of my face.
No, it's not awkward for you. Yes, on December 31st, when the application for the scholarship was that October. Mehdi, you're wasting your time on
child. This is giving me a headache.
Hey, this is childish. What type of nigga will not take free money?
A damn fool, Taj.
And then spend your own money. I don't give a damn how
You
much
got
money.
$750,000.
Use that scholarship.
Earn this scholarship with academic excellence.
Which is
I'm
a
a
meritorious
school.
achievement.
Man, but that's how you gotta understand though. That's how the left thinks though.
They think we're dumb.
They think if you're gonna be successful, why don't you give your money away? Why are you taking free money? You have money.
Because we supposed to be retarded, bro.
We gotta give it to everyone.
Way.
You need to share.
Oh.
You need to share that money.
That's not your money. That's
You need to share.
That's your neighbor's money.
You need to share.
That's your neighbor's
Let
money.
me have some.
I'm on crack and I'm poor, but you rich. I need your money.
Hey, let me get some of your pockets, man. I need
Five
some.
more.
your money.
Let's get back into this 5 more minutes of a headache.
Let me hold $1, man.
Believe me,
I've got the tax returns in front of my face.
No, it's not awkward for you. Yes,
let's
on
walk
December
me through it.
31st, when the application for the scholarship was that October. Mehdi, you're wasting your
He said
time
you gotta
on
be
childish
legal
details
immigrants, so
in
Go on.
October of
Details
that year
matter
when I
to me.
applied for that
Go on.
scholarship. And it was, well, guess what? The bonuses that a hedge fund pays, and it's a shame that, again, you don't have to be an expert on this, but if you're going to spout out, you better know something about it. People pay at a hedge fund the bonuses at the end of a year. And on December 31st, that's when I was paid. I applied for the scholarship that September, and I did not grow up in a wealthy family.
Vivek, you made more money the previous year.
I made $200,000 pre-tax or whatever it was.
No, you didn't.
And you know what?
No, you didn't. You're now telling flat. In 2009,
you have my tax returns in front of you. I don't remember what I made in 2009.
In 2009, you made $650,000. In 2010, you made less, $450,000. So the argument that you only made the money pre the scholarship, oh, so now we're bringing tax into it. We've been using gross money.
Absolutely.
Vivek, how much?
$50,000.
Okay, what is he even supposed to
That
say?
is even more. That is even more reason for me to vote for him. The fact that you can make that much money in college while getting a scholarship, like
a lawyer,
because you gotta maintain grades for the scholarship. So I can make this and do this.
Nah, bro.
Why would not?
I think a businessman should be the president.
Me too.
Period. That's me though.
Well, our country is pretty much a big business corporation. So
golly,
it's pre the scholarship, Oh, so now we're bringing tax into it. We've been using gross numbers.
Absolutely.
How much on this? Go back and check your tax
$50,000
returns. You made
obviously makes a big difference.
And then you accepted a Soros scholarship for $50,000 when you didn't need it.
Well, you know what the fact is, Mehdi, is $50,000 did make a big difference to me back then. And anybody who has a few $100,000 in the bank is going to take $50,000 without strings attached. Take the scholarship. But my question for you is, why on earth are you, as an intelligent person interested in politics, obsessing over a 24-year-old's $50,000 scholarship?
I'm interested in truth.
We have a country to fix.
You wear. I'm interested in truth.
And Mehdi, that's why I released 20 years. Mehdi, that is why I released 20 years of tax records. Tell your friends in the Biden administration to do the same thing. Tell your Democrat candidates to do the same thing.
We've gone over time.
Breaking precedents, and I think it is pathetic. I just think it is sad and pathetic that that we have important issues to talk about for the future of a country, and you're talking about a $50,000 scholarship. Administration to do the same thing. Tell your Democrat candidates to do the same thing.
We've gone over time.
Breaking precedents, and I think it is pathetic. I just think it is sad and pathetic that that we have important issues to talk about for the future of a country, and you're talking about a $50,000 scholarship in 2010 to go to Yale Law School when I was 24. This is pathetic, and is why nobody trusts you.
So that a candidate on their
You should
side,
have taken money to go to school. You should have paid it yourself.
you don't even know who's on the Democratic side
you
right
had
now.
money.
So y'all just doing this for no reason. The Democrats not winning. I'm sorry.
Did they have a GOP yet?
I don't know. I don't think so, bro.
There should have been the day before the next day.
I think somebody right now just said Joe Biden cannot run that.
Hey, you remember what they said? You can't.
He's too old. I think
Democratic
earlier this morning.
I know they have a GOP. They can't clap. They got to do this.
For real?
No,
bro. Who was even running? Guys, in the chat, please, and in the comments for people that watch this after, tell us some Democratic candidates that's running, guys.
Why?
Please. Because I don't know any.
I don't know any.
Like, what is the point of doing this?
I said that the
You're
other day.
making him look bad for nobody on your side to win.
I don't know
let's look. We got the phone.
We can look after them. Let's finish.
How much is Yale law school
Talk about for the future of a country. And you're talking about a $50,000 scholarship in 2010 to go to Yale Law School when I was 24.
If you just owned
this is pathetic. And this is why nobody trusts you guys.
It is pathetic in your view, but you paid a Wikipedia editor who then removed it. So clearly it's something you didn't want people to read about. Last question, because we've gone over time and I respect you.
Who also said I was born in India. Who also said I was born in India and misspelled and got my wife's name wrong. So yes, we actually need to correct facts when people are playing this game.
Y'all gonna be messed up.
Who's running?
There's only 3 Democrats running, bro.
Body can't run, bro.
It's only 3.
Hold it close to me. That's Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Joe Biden,
and Zion Williamson. I heard Robert's not that bad. I don't know.
Robert crazy. He be on Joe Biden talking crazy.
I don't trust the
Kennedys, talking crazy.
I don't trust the Kennedys, bro.
Why? He swole, bro.
No, there's a whole family of Kennedys, bro. They old, bro.
I mean, bro, I heard he was pretty cool from what I heard.
That's the swollest old man ever. He said, let's fight Joe Biden.
I heard he's like talking like some crazy conspiracy. I ain't gonna say conspiracy, but I heard he's like been like
60. He's 60 or 70.
I heard he's been like spilling dirty secrets that he should be.
Yeah, bro, he's crazy.
What the heck?
Like, it's only 3. What's the lady's name? That's the
Bro,
lady's
hold
name.
on, bro.
Look at him. Swole ass old man.
He is swole.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when he was on like, damn Joe Biden to get in the waiting room.
Yeah, he said, Joe Biden, let's get it in. I said, I'm fucking with you, RFK Jr. He's swole ass old swole man.
What was the lady's name? Joe is not even running, bro.
Yes, he
won't even
bro.
run the stage, bro.
Joe is walking. He can't run.
All right, let's finish.
Bro, it's only 3 candidates,
What is
bro.
the lady's name, man?
I don't know. Is it? Yeah, it's Williamson. I don't know.
Moraine Williamson.
Oh, she's done.
Damn, why she gotta be done?
She's done.
It's only 3 candidates, y'all.
I would prefer Robert F. Kennedy over both of them.
What?
I'm rocking with RFK. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
I ain't.
Y'all.
He ain't.
It's
I
only-
I just rock with him because he's swole. If he was fat, I wouldn't rock
Bro,
with him.
y'all. No, I'm sorry, bro.
No, it's a lot to a little.
That is insane.
Nah,
I've
that is
never
crazy.
seen this before.
Nah, that is actually
Crazy.
crazy.
Let's finish
I
it off,
think
though.
that-
Let's finish
that
it off,
shows a
though,
lot.
y'all.
That shows a lot. That dude shows a lot.
Yeah, I also forgot the dude's name, but the guy in the Breakfast Club, he should have just ran Democrat and just threw his policies out there. What's his name again? Larry should have ran Democrat.
He would have
It is sad and pathetic that that we have important issues to talk about for the future of a country, and you're talking about a $50,000 scholarship in 2010 to go to Yale Law School when I was 24.
If you just owned
this
it,
is pathetic, and this is why nobody trusts you guys.
It is pathetic in your view, but you paid a Wikipedia editor who then removed it. So clearly it's something you didn't want people to read about. Last question, because we've got to. But you just owned
this
it.
is pathetic, and this is why nobody trusts you guys.
It is pathetic in your view, but you paid a Wikipedia editor who then removed it. So clearly it's something you didn't want people to read about. Last question, because we've gone over time and I respect you.
Who also said I was born in India. Who also said I was born in India and misspelled and got my wife's name wrong. So yes, we actually need to correct facts when people are playing this game.
Last question. You want me to ask a substantive question? Here's what I worry about most: democracy in this country.
I would love substantive
questions. Not just under Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Last question for you. Not just under Donald Trump, but under you, people are worried about authoritarianism. You have preemptively promised to pardon Trump no matter what juries of his peers decide, as well as today extending those pardons to January 6 rioters. You've dismissed white supremacists as boogeymen and unicorns. You want to fire at least half the federal government workforce. That's over 1 million people. You want to remove the right to vote from 18 to 25-year-olds. That's over 30 million people. You want to get rid of birthright citizenship. In fact, you refer to voting and citizenship as privileges when they are, in my view and in the Constitution view, rights. It's a very anti-democratic worldview. What do you say to people who criticize you for that?
I think you're a dickhead.
I don't think it's an anti-democratic worldview. I favor reviving the lifeblood of our constitutional republic. Revive actual free speech and open debate in this country. Revive civic duty in this country, something that our founding fathers envisioned. Revive true equality in front of the law, where people aren't prosecuted because of the color of their skin or because of the content of their political views. One standard of the rule of law for everybody. I stand for the founding vision of the country where the people who we elect to run the government ought to be the ones who actually run the government, when in fact most policymaking functions in D.C. are performed by federal bureaucrats. So yes, my standard is, would Alexander Hamilton and John James and Thomas Jefferson and George Washington, would they be proud of what they see today, or would they be appalled? I think if they walked around and saw Washington, D.C. today, they would be appalled. By the time I leave office in January 2033 after 2 terms, they will once again be proud of what we've created, a government with 3 co-equal branches, not 4, shutting down that administrative state, reviving civic duty, and reviving one standard of the rule of law for all Americans. And that is not a Democratic vision or a Republican vision. That is a pro-American vision that I think can actually reunite this country, which is what I believe I will uniquely be able to deliver as the next president.
He's not even listening.
Vivek Ramaswamy, we will have to leave it there. Appreciate you coming on the show, taking my questions, even if you didn't like all of them. Appreciate you taking time out from a busy
campaign. Does anybody know how to do this? I can't do it. Like this.
Thank you. Look forward to discussing more of the agenda in the future.
Next time,
that's what I was going to say. Throw up the V's. You can't do this.
No,
V's up. Hey, everybody behind the comment, man.
Somebody,
V's up, man.
I got to correct someone in the comments. So somebody said, so it's Fox. Is Fox News credible? No, they're not. No news source is credible at this point. From what I have seen.
No one's credible.
I've only been watching the news, like really like watching it and watching politics on the news for about probably a year now. And what I've seen,
the fake.
Every news source has been bullshit at this point.
I'm going to keep it 100. Why are these news sources supporting so much left agenda? It was only 3 candidates.
Because they gotta do something.
So like that let me know something off rip.
You know why?
Nobody want to run to be
You know why?
Why?
Because that's what Twitter likes.
They said they're not voting for you, Aladdin.
You know how many people?
Leroy.
You know how many people have like they have
Throw
tried
the
to
V's
shoot
up.
at Vivek though? Chuck Todd, whoever this guy's name is.
His name was
the black
Manny.
guy. What was the black guy we just reacted to? The album
Larry.
Not Larry. I'm talking about the guy that Vivek just cooked. Like
Black guy.
Donovan.
What was his name?
Donovan.
Al Sharpton.
Al Sharpton.
All motherfuckers.
How many people have they?
Do you know
shot
that Al
at Vivek?
Sharpton led a revolt in New York that got a Jewish man killed? What? And then he said, we gonna keep coming because a New Yorker Jewish man hit a little black boy and he hit him in the car and he died. And they Al Sharpton led a riot against them, and he said, we're gonna keep going, you Jewish people must pay. And they led a riot, and a Jewish man got beat to death and died. And then Al Sharpton showed up to the press that same day and said, we're gonna keep coming until they pay.
No, that's insane.
Actually, I just saw that on Elon Musk's Twitter. He tweeted a link to it, to the news article, actually.
That's insane. You talking about big Al Sharpton?
I'm talking about
when he was skinny?
I'm talking
about when he was skinny or fat. That's what I'm asking.
This was when he was
fat boy.
I don't know. Let me see. Let me pull it up.
On some like KKK type shit.
He was, they was revolting because
they killed the black boy.
Yeah, he got hit by a car.
They killed the black boy. He said they got it back in blood. They hit the poo shiesty.
Here it is, right here.
Big brr.
Let's see.
That's a crazy story. I didn't even know anything about that at all.
Yes, it says after a car driven by a Hasidic Jew accidentally swerved and struck a young African American boy, hundreds of the black neighborhoods rioted in the street, chanting "Death to Jews," as well as looting, attacking stores, and anyone who is Israeli Jewish, ripping mezuzot off of doorposts. Sharpton was quick to arrive on the scene, leading the march in which participants burned an Israeli flag and called to kill all Jews at the young boy's funeral. Sharpton delivered a eulogy that borrowed heavily from the protocols of Elder Zion, saying that Jewish residents in the neighborhood practiced apartheid and were only there to further Jewish global grip on money and power. He ominously ended by shouting, "Pay for your deeds." At least one Jew paid the ultimate price for Al Sharpton's incitement. A few days earlier, 20 black men surrounded Yankel Rosenbaum, a 29-year-old student, stabbing him in the back and beating him so badly they smashed his skull. Rosenbaum succumbed to the wounds later that night. Sharpton showed up to the scene after ensuring that the rioting continued for days.
That's insane.
That is
I
crazy.
hate to be canceled for that.
I do not know.
Well, back in the day, you could get away with that shit.
Let me see. When was this?
That's some shit.
I
know Al Sharpton.
Y'all know that's insane though, isn't it?
I've been seeing Al Sharpton.
That's insane,
all my life.
Isn't it?
Y'all, I got a smart idea, bro, to bring us all back together as
Trump
Americans.
and Vivek like Shaq and Kobe. That's hilarious.
I got a great way to make us all get back together as Americans.
What's your idea?
We need to make a festival called the American Festival.
It's gonna be some
Man, the woke left ain't going to that.
I don't want the woke ways. I don't want the woke.
The
I want
LGBT
true
community
proud Americans.
The actual best way is through sports. Everybody love watching sports.
Not everybody.
Music brings everybody together. Though.
I'm gonna make an album, y'all.
I think music,
and
bro.
music can be negative.
That's why I said. I know what I'm saying, bro. We got to hit the.
I'm finna drop an album, y'all. It's called Unite
Super
America.
Bowl, but music.
Unite America, man.
Other sports though too, like the Olympics bring people together, like everything.
Sports and music are probably the top two that bring people together.
I'm gonna drop an album, y'all.
That's what it's true. Sports low-key probably helped end racism when there was all them black players dominating them sports and all that. These white coaches and everybody.
Hey, check, guys. What do y'all think?
What
would bring everybody together? Sports.
Well, Jesus music. First of all.
Well, Jesus definitely.
Jesus gonna do it first.
What do y'all think though?
I just want
But earthly things. I'm going football.
I just want America to be back together
in the universe.
Are you proud to be American?
Also, someone said we should do our own research, but like sometimes y'all are saying the Google is out left.
They was getting on my ass for Googling yesterday. Research?
Like
they said, don't you trust
Google? So where are we supposed to get the research? We're supposed to go to a damn library.
You get a pen and paper and you go out and you drive to the people and you interview them.
Are we supposed to go to a library? Barbecue. Hey, you might be right.
But what about them Americans that don't eat pork?
Hey, we
don't have to get
them. We got some cow ribs. We can give them anything.
Now barbecue would probably be a big
worship
one
swines in those religions, don't they?
Hey, y'all, look. All I just wanted to say, I just want y'all to be some proud Americans, man.
Yeah, we need to bring the country back together. It has
don't worry about the next man.
We gonna bring.
I want to be proud to be American.
He's gonna perform with his Sunday service.
You know what I also learned?
Go to church.
I watched someone sent the link to something like the other day, and it was saying like something like psychological is going on with like all the divisions. So like you know how the news channels divided, red and blues divided, sport teams is divided.
A fish fry. That's a great idea, Michael of Marble.
I mean, it's always like a loser and a winner, and like
that's life.
Team versus
that's
this
America.
Team. But how is that life, bro?
Because that's what happens in life,
bro.
I mean, but they created it.
No, it's always gonna happen.
Wars is who.
Yeah, y'all are slaves and we are slaves. We write history and y'all slaves.
And if you don't do what we gonna do,
so you gonna be a wolf or a sheep, and that's your choice.
That's why I'm glad to be American.
But everybody on earth is a wolf or a sheep.
Yeah, you're right.
Everybody.
Yeah, you.
And you look in the mirror and you figure out what you is. You mother sheeps out there.
It's like an hour documentary that's been going viral.
I don't care, man.
About that.
That's soft.
About what?
We'll have to watch it, bro. Guys, we might come on tomorrow and watch it if the guys decide. Maybe we'll pin the link. How about this? Everybody said that. I think the person that like commented said the title said everybody should watch this. Like, so we're gonna pin the link. Y'all go try to watch it a little bit,
I'm gonna take
and then we're gonna come back on here and watch it. Let us know what y'all think.
All I want to say, this is my last statement.
If I can find it.
This is my last statement, man. If you're not proud to be an American, something's so wrong with you, man.
This is the greatest country on earth.
This is the greatest country ever for your black people.
Do y'all think other countries are divided like this though?
Asian people.
Well, Africa's very divided, but
bro, they in Africa they sold us for a Henny bottle.
Every country got problems.
We got sold for a Henny bottle in Africa.
What's that country? Is it Switzerland?
They got 25 people.
That's true.
But they got 25 people and they all
Dubai, the richest country.
That's
they
oil.
Divided.
That's oil. They probably not.
I'm saying
so. They probably got problems
for us to thrive. I don't think that we have to. We can't be divided, bro. We can't.
That's what I'm saying. We gotta let everybody know. Stop trying to fight against it.
Everybody has their beliefs, though.
Every country gonna have problems, bro.
You can have an American dream. You can have nothing on your back and come to the bed and make some shake.
People like that. No, but like.
Let's wrap it up, fellas.
I don't know, man.
We are rambling. You gotta be a proud American.
But we have a soundboard. Do y'all think it's the okay?
We have
do y'all
a
think that people truly have their own beliefs, or do y'all think that
I think it's influenced?
People,
it's 100%
influenced.
influenced.
That's what I'm saying. So like,
bro, it's influenced.
Everyone is influenced.
That's why you gotta watch what you put in your brain.
Until we did research,
we was influenced.
We was influenced.
We was. That's facts.
You gotta watch what you put in your brain and what you read and what you consume.
We wasn't graduated. We wasn't a young, educated black man. We got a degree. We seen the truth.
Therefore, we can shake back then, because somebody can come out and be like, okay, fuck this.
That's what we're here to do.
Shit.
We're here to change the world.
That's what we're here for.
We're trying not to let the world. We're gonna have the same.
We're changing the world one video at a time.
Because we don't want the world to fold. Because you can't fold to be a Cartier family American. You can't.
All right, y'all playing, but for real.
No, we for real though.
But like,
even if they don't believe what we say, we always say, even if we don't believe, we should be able to vibe.
So say if we
don't
did
have the
come
same
together,
beliefs, we should all be able to vibe regardless.
Should everybody get what they want though? So say if everything started off,
everybody can't get what they want,
and everybody was together,
that can't happen.
And we were like, okay, we're not.
Nothing will be sufficient.
We're not gonna do gay marriage, right?
Somebody's not gonna be happy about some decision that's made, no matter what.
Facts.
It's always gonna be a problem
in the world.
Well, what about me?
What about this?
What about
I never seen so many people.
My dog wanna identify as a cat. I wanna be alive. He think he a cat.
Okay, guys.
You know, dogs be thinking they cat. You ever seen a dog that's around all cats and he really think he a cat? That's the same thing that's just really happening to people. Is that dog actually a cat by birth? No.
Hey, y'all. All I just want to say, I want everybody that's in this chat to be a proud American.
I love you guys. And
America.
the live's always fun, guys, so we're going to start doing it way more. It's been awesome.
Ain't nothing.
And
We'll cut somebody head ball on live one day.
All right, chill. All right. Chiefs, Lions game going on right now.